the answers to life's biggest questions are hidden in plain sight? Let's uncover them together. Welcome to the Divine Sorcerer, where we bridge the gap between science and spirit. Join me on a journey through iatromathematics, witchcraft, alchemy, biochemistry, and astrology. We'll explore the ancient and the modern, the mystical and the scientific. But this isn't just about what I've learned. It's about opening your mind to new possibilities and challenging the conventional wisdom you've been taught. We're diving into controversial topics and offering fresh perspectives, aiming to elevate your consciousness and spark your curiosity. From the wonders of the cosmos to the secrets of ancient texts, we'll uncover the hidden knowledge that can transform the way you see the world. So, are you ready to embark on this enlightening adventure? Hit that subscribe button and join the Divine Sorcerer community, where we explore the unknown and rise to a higher state of understanding. Let's unlock the secrets of the universe, one discovery at a time. See you in the next video. Stay curious, stay enlightened.
Right. Hey guys. It's Divine Sorcerer here with you. We are going to talk about the principle of rhythm. Last week we covered the principle of polarity. We're going to touch a little bit on polarity tonight, as they both are like I told you, mentalism goes with correspondence. Correspondence goes with vibration. They all interconnect. We got a storm going on here, so hopefully it cooperates with us tonight, and I can get through this whole thing, and then I won't have to do it tomorrow. All right, and so I will give it time for everybody to come on in before we get started. As you see, the principle of rhythm. All right. All right. And so the principle of rhythm, as you guys know, the last couple of videos we did mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, and now we have rhythm. Hey, baby. All right. And so, let's see here. Move my screen around. All right. So, get off. So at the core of this principle is the concept of invariable oscillation. Okay, like a pendulum. Nothing remains at rest. Stability is an illusion maintained by a continuous balanced movement between two extremes. Kind of like we were talking about polarity last week, right? Well, this time we have rhythm. All right, and so the law of compensation. The swing to the right is always the equal measure of the swing to the left. You cannot have a massive peak without an equally deep valley. The height of a wave determines the depth of its trough. All right. The universality of cycles. This is the rhythm that is observable across every scale of reality. Cosmic. The birth, death, and rebirth of worlds. The progression of eras. The orbits of planets. Let's move to environmental. The changing of the seasons, the rise and the fall of the tides, the day turning into night. These are all rhythms, right? Let's look at the human. In the human, we have the rise and the fall of the great civilizations. We have economic booms and recessions, and the fluctuations of personal moods and physical energy. Now, as we talk about the Hermetic principles, we get into moods and energy, and that's all kind of the point. And so, since we did polarity last week, and we're doing rhythm this week, like I said, one stacks on top of the other, on top of the other. Like they all go in succession, right? So, to fully grasp rhythm, it must be paired with the fourth Hermetic principle, which was polarity. Polarity establishes, as we went over last week, that everything is dual. Everything has its pair of opposites: hot, cold, light, dark, joy, depression, rhythm. Rhythm is the force that moves the pendulum between these poles, while polarity provides the track or the axis. Rhythm is actual motion along the axis. It is the inevitable pull that forces a state of being toward its opposite extreme once it reaches its peak. And then so we also have the law of naturalization. The Hermetic practitioner learns to polarize themselves at the desired pole, meaning peace, courage, or focus, and then refuses to participate in the backward swing. By raising their consciousness, and we go through this all the time, right, to a higher plane of operation, the mental or spiritual plane, as we talked about in the first principle of mentalism, right? That they allow the pendulum of the lower, the material, the emotional plane to swing beneath them. The swing still happens, but the practitioner has no longer attached to it, effectively neutralizing its impact on their state of mind. It is the art of becoming the observer rather than the victim of the tide. And so the law of counter protection. This involves recognizing the early momentum of the backward swing and consciously applying an opposite mental force. By understanding that the period of high energy or joy will naturally be followed by a period of rest or low energy, the master prepares for it. Instead of fighting the ebb and the flow, they use it intentionally for reflection, recovery, and preparation for the next forward surge. So, the as in the mundane experience, a person experiences a period of intense creative inspiration. That would be the right swing, followed immediately by severe creative burnout and self doubt. That would be the left swing, completely at the mercy of rhythm. Now, the Hermetic experience. The Hermetic recognizes the peak of inspiration, anticipates the inevitable backward swing, and consciously retreats into a state of intentional rest and study on a higher plane. They do not experience the emotional crash because they have detached their identity from the movement of the lower pendulum to the higher. Ultimately, mastering the principle of rhythm is about moving from a state of being reacted upon by the universe to become an active actor who uses the tides to navigate reality with precision, right? And so, combining the Hermetic principle of polarity with the Hermetic principle of rhythm, we see how they interconnect. But we're going to go deeper. We're going to show how they interconnect with, or how these principles, all of them, right? Because I've showed you thus far in every video with every principle how they do in fact interconnect with thermodynamics, quantum consciousness, quantum physics, astronomy, science, biology, physiology, iatromathematics, sociology, sacred geometry, numerology, astrology, alchemy, witchcraft, all these interesting things, right? They interconnect. And when you understand these different things, these different aspects, and you learn to work them in succession, you really can manipulate reality. You can make your life so much better. You're in control of your life, right? Well, most of you aren't. Most of you are indoctrinated in the government, or those that run you by fear operate you. A lot of us that are awake, we don't operate that way. We operate on a higher conscience. Why? How? Through these principles. Understanding these principles, applying them to our everyday life, and wielding our reality the way we want to, not to the way that society says that it should be, right? And so now understanding the principle of rhythm, everything flows out and in, okay? Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. That's according to the Kabbalion, which, guys, I'm telling you, if you have not picked up a copy of the Kabbalion and you're into Hermetics, you're into the things that I'm speaking to you about, and how they're interconnected and how you can apply them to your daily life and make your life better, right? I mean, it's going to take more than Hermetic principles, but this is the start. This is where you start, right? Then I would go out and buy a copy of the Kabbalion, get familiar with the Kabbalion and how they state the principles. Okay, but now I'm going to show you how they're interconnected with thermodynamics, quantum physics, quantum consciousness, astronomy, and so on, right? So again, everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. And so when we look at hard sciences and physics, thermodynamics, the pendulum manifests through the fundamental cycles of energy transfer and the continuous interchange of kinetic potential energy. Now, you'll have to know thermodynamics to know what I'm talking about. A lot of you won't. But then I know many of you out there that follow me, that have been following me, that are onto this, you guys will, right? And so that was the pendulum. It manifests through the fundamental cycles of energy transfer and continuous interchange of kinetic potential energy. Now the law relates, the law, reality operates on a cosmic ledger of conservation, meaning, like everybody was taught in school, E equals mc squared 2, right? A pendulum at its apex holds maximum potential energy. At its lowest point, maximum kinetic energy, the rhythmic conversion of one to the other drives all thermodynamic work. Entropy acts as the ultimate downward swing, the dissolution of order into chaos, which invariably proceeds to a new cycle of creation, right? And we've talked about that in past videos, how that happens. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but you can go back, I think, or maybe my website, and it might be in there. I'm pretty sure I did it somewhere, but if not, we'll do it again, right? And so, number two, quantum dynamics and quantum mechanics. The pendulum manifests as wave functions, particle waves, duality, and probability fields. The law of the pendulum, at that subatomic scale, static matter does not exist. Reality is defined by frequency and oscillation. The Schrödinger equation tracks how quantum states change rhythmically over time. Particles oscillate between physical manifestation and unmanifested potentiality. Matter itself is simply a localized high-frequency rhythmic vibration of energy trapped within a field. That was quantum physics, quantum mechanics. Now let's go to quantum consciousness. The pendulum manifests as an oscillation between localized consciousness, awareness, and the non-local universal quantum field. The wall, bridging physics and the mind, theories like orchestrated objective reduction, suggests consciousness arises from quantum vibrations within neural microtubules. Perception is not a continuous stream, but a rapid succession of high-frequency rhythmic flashes. A constant swing between consciousness manifests a subconscious potential. And so now we're going to go to astronomy. The pendulum manifests as orbital mechanics, planetary rotations, and cosmic periodicities. The wall. The macrocosm is the literal clockwork mechanism of precise repeating mathematical rhythms. The rotation of planets on their axis creates day and night. Their revolutions around the stars dictate the seasons. On a grander scale, precisional cycles, such as the precision of the equinoxes, mark great cosmic epochs of ages, demonstrating that the cosmos breathes in predictable tides, breathes out, right? It's that ebb and flow. And so now we'll go to science, general physics and chemistry. The pendulum manifests as wave mechanics, harmonic resonance, and oscillating chemical reactions. The wall. In classical physics, all light, sound, and electromagnetic radiation are defined by frequency. We talked a lot about frequency and vibration and wavelength, the literal measurement of the swing to the right and the left. In chemistry, self-sustaining oscillation reactions like the Briggs-Rasher reaction demonstrates solutions rhythmically, changing color back and forth between distinct states, proving that matter inherently seeks rhythmic expression. All right, so we're going to move on to biology, medicine, and human systems. I kind of like this department, right? It's kind of like my niche, but I kind of dig it all too. All right, and so 6, we'll start with biology. The pendulum manifests as homeostasis and biological feedback loops. The law. Life requires continuous calibrations to survive. Homeostasis is the biological application of the law of compensation, which we talked about earlier above. Or, well, if you go back a little bit. When an organism's internal environment swings too far into an extreme, the pH levels, oxygen saturation, or temperature spikes, biological feedback mechanisms trigger an equal or opposite counterswing to restore equilibrium. That's biology, right? Let's go to physiology. The pendulum manifests as biological peacemakers, internal clocks, and organic cycles. The law. The human body is orchestrated by nested rhythms, circadian 24-hour sleep-wake cycles aligned with planetary rotations, infradian, monthly or seasonal hormonal cycles, and ultradian, short, recurrent cycles like sleep stages. The cardiovascular system operates on a constant oscillation between systole, which is contracting, swinging right, and distal, which is relaxing and swinging left. To stop the rhythm, in physiology is death, right? All right. Let's see, where am I here? Next, oh, my favorite. I love this subject. This is one of my favorites. Iatromathematics, medical astrology, guys, right? And so, astrological medicine, the pendulum manifests as the synchronization between celestial cycles and the systematic humors, organs of the human body. The wall. This esoteric medical science maps cosmic periodicities directly into the human physiology. It posits that the bodily systems swell and ebb in direct alignment with the planetary movements, kind of like, the moon with the water, right? It's just like that. Let me see, where was that? Okay. And so illness and crisis are understood as the peak of a specific planetary rhythmic wave moving through a corresponding body zone, signaling to the physician precisely when the pendulum will naturally swing back toward recovery. They did a lot with planetary astrology and the swinging, like the rhythm. Like doctors should know this stuff. If you call yourself a doctor, you should know all this, right? But the problem is they got away from knowing all of this and they went towards what made them money instead. All right, and so let's go to sociology, right? The pendulum manifests as generational cycles, political shifts, and economic trends. The law. Collective human consciousness moves like an ocean tide. Societies operate on predictable generational turnings and political oscillations. A period of intense conservation restriction, swinging right, inevitably generates an equal and opposite countercultural revolution of radical liberty, swinging to the left. Markets behave similarly, swinging predictability through boom and bust in their economic cycles. And so then we move on to mathematics and esoteric geometry, right? Sacred geometry to be exact. The pendulum in sacred geometry manifests the sine wave. We talked about that in I think it was like our first video, the sine wave, the spiral, and the torus. The law, sacred geometry provides the visual blueprint for the laws of vibration and rhythm. The sine wave is the geometric rendering of a pendulum's motion plotting against time. When wrapped around a central axis, this wave forms the torus, the foundational geometric shape of the universal energy flow. The torus expands outwards and folds in on itself and collapses back inward in a self-sustaining rhythmic feedback loop. It's called a torus or toroidal field. We all have one. Can't see it, but it's there. All right. Now we will move to numerology. The pendulum manifests as sequential numbers, frequencies, and oscillations between active and receptive forces. The law. Numbers represent specific archetype frequencies in a sequential progression of cosmic unfolding. The base cycle from 1 to 9 establishes a master rhythm. Like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 is active, masculine, outward pushing waves of the pendulum, which is expansion and manifestation, where 2, 4, 6, and 8 would be the receptive feminine structural, the inward pulling waves, the contraction and the consolation. The sequence resets infinitely 1 through 9, returning to 1 via 10, reflecting the eternal resurrection or the recurrence of the rhythm, right? So 1 through 9 starts back over to 1. 10 is 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. Goes right back to 1. All right, and so let's look at esoteric and occult arts, right? Let's look at astrology. The pendulum manifests as planetary transits, synodic cycles, and orbital periods. The law. Astrology measures comic timing. Each celestial body acts as a pendulum with a unique string length dictating its obstacle period, from the moon's rapid 28-day tide to Saturn's deliberate 29.5-year cycle. The planetary transits map out the micro and the macro rhythms of human life, where major configurations like Saturn's return mark structural harvests, while swifter lunar transits dictate daily emotional currents. Alchemy. The pendulum manifests as the operational formula solve et coagula, meaning dissolve and coagulate, the law. The Greek word magnum opus relies entirely on rhythmic laboratory and spiritual cycles. The alchemist rhythmically dissolves a substance into its primordial, chaotic components, swing into the unmanifested, then coagulates it into a refined higher order, swinging the purified manifestation back. This cycle of dissolution and calcination is repeated continuously until the matter is perfected, right? Let's go on to something else I find fascinating. Witchcraft, right? The pendulum manifests as the wheel of the year, the lunar phases, the natural tides, right? The law. Witchcraft's work in conscious alignment with natural rhythms rather than trying to oppose them. Practitioners utilize the macro rhythm of the solar year, the solstice and the equinox, and the micro rhythms of the lunar cycles, the aspats. The outward growing rhythm of the waxing moon is utilized for invocation and manifestation, while the inward receding rhythm of the waning moon is channeled for banishing, clearing, and introspection. And so then we move from witchcraft to Torah, right? And in Tarot, the pendulum manifests as archetypal progressions within the major and minor arcana. The law would be that the tarot deck maps the soul's rhythmic journey through incarnation. The key major archetypal explicitly embodies this law. Okay? So then we have like the arcane X, the wheel of fortune, the definitive emblem of the principle of rhythm, the perpetual motion of rise and fall, teaching that what is at the apex will inevitably rotate to the bottom and vice versa. All right, the arcana, like the justice card. This visual representation of the law of compensation, balancing the scales to ensure the swing to the right matches the swing to the left. You can try the arcana card Temperance, the art of consciously managing the swing, pouring vital force back and forth between opposing vessels until perfect mental equilibrium is attained. So, in essence, reality is a singular, interconnected, vibrating circuit. Whether measuring a photon's frequency in the quantum mechanics lab, calculating a natal chart transit in astrology, tracking cellular homeostatic feedback in biology, or drawing the wheel of fortune in a tarot spread, you are observing the exact same immutable law. The master of Hermetics recognizes these disciplines not as desperate subjects, but as different dialects of a single universal language, the language of the pendulum. And that's one reason why I take the pendulum in on ghost hunts with me, guys, because if you read the rhythm and you understand your surroundings, you can actually get a lot out of just that pendulum swinging. Especially if you have a board that has answers and they can manipulate it to go to where they like. There's so much, guys, and yeah, I'll bring it to you as soon as gas prices go down and I can actually get out there and do some shit, right? Fucking Trump. Bring the gas prices back down, cocksucker. All right. Anyway, so that was my rant for the night. I hear at the end, I got more rant. Oh, I mean, yeah. I'm in the middle of working on a video. Uh, got a lot written down, right? But you guys know on my one channel, you probably don't even know it's my channel because I didn't even put a name to it. But from religion to agnostic, I put videos out doing the whole genealogy of the Hebrews from Lilith to Adam to Eve to I think it went all the way up to like maybe I don't know David or somewhere. I don't know. It went up pretty far before I just quit and was like, hey, I'm not even worried about it anymore. I was going through the lineage again, right? And I found some interesting stuff about Jesus. so we'll talk about that on another video because I'm getting all that together to bring out about the genealogy of the Israelites or the Hebrews or their Messiah or however you want to equate it. So stay tuned for that video, right? And I got a few more videos that I'm working on as well. But this has been the video of the principle of rhythm. Now next week we have what is it? This is rhythm. Next week is cause and effect. I'm pretty sure it's cause and effect, which guys y'all need to get familiar with because I'm gonna tell you right now, some of y'all ain't gonna like me come next week. Because cause and effect, that is karma. And I'm not sure like how anal you guys have been out there because I know the world's crazy, but just like we talked about the pendulum and the swing from the left is the swing to the right, what you put out is what you get back, right? Yeah, karma has a lot to do with that. And that is, again, the cause and effect. So we will be talking about that next weekend. Again, they all, the cause and effects, it goes with rhythm. Rhythm goes with vibration, which goes with correspondence, which goes with mentalism. Like, when you understand these and you incorporate them, there's something there, guys. There's something there. And yeah. Tune in next week for the principle of cause and effects because after that we have one more left, and that is the principle of gender. Ain't gonna like me on that one either. All right, and so we have been on here for just about a half hour. It has been a crazy hot day. I'm not going to keep you guys on for too long because it's still freaking hot, and the longer this air conditioner is off, I'm roasting. And really, there's only one person in here anyway, so this will be meant for you guys that tune in after work, after you go to the bar, after you party this weekend, whatever. You'll stumble across this video, and hopefully you like it. If so, leave me a comment. Be like, hey, dude, pretty interesting, or hey, dude, fucking nonsense, didn't like it, whatever. You're not going to hurt my feelings, but the feedback is always welcome. If you want more in-depth shit, like let me know and what, because like I said, I cover a lot of this stuff, right? Because it's all interconnected. So when you understand that, you can pretty much understand the way the world works, right? And a lot of yins are waking up today. You're starting to understand how the world works through the corrupt political system that we have that is trying to kill you, right? Basically, that's just put the elephant out there, right? They're not trying to help you. If anything, they're trying to extort you and kill you, right? Knowing these principles, raising to a higher vibration, coming out of that, like growing your own food, taking care of your own self, taking your safety back, right? Don't count on somebody else for your safety. Take that shit back, right? Learn to grow your own food. Learn to make your own clothes. Learn to do for yourself. You'll be much better off. I guarantee it. All right, guys. This is the Divine Sorcerer. Love ya. I'll see you next Thursday for the principle of cause and effect. Spread it out there. Let everybody know. Come see me for the cause and effect principle next Thursday at 9:30. Have a blessed night and an awesome weekend.
If you're a seeker of hidden truths, then you need to dive into the world of the occult. Journey with us through ancient tomes and cryptic symbols as we explore the esoteric arts, sorcery, hermetics, iatromathematics, astrology, and sacred geometry. These disciplines have shaped human history, whispering secrets to those brave enough to listen. Imagine the alchemist's laboratory, filled with mysterious instruments and bubbling elixirs, where science and magic converge to reveal the hidden laws of nature. Picture the astrologer's chart, mapping the heavens to uncover the cosmic influences on our lives. What did the ancients know that we have forgotten? How did they use sacred geometry to unlock the secrets of the universe? And what truths lie hidden in the mystical texts of Hermeticism? These questions beckon us, inviting us to delve deeper into the unknown. Join us as we unveil the mysteries of the occult,
where every symbol has meaning and every number carries a hidden message. Unlock your inner potential, transform your reality, and embrace the cosmic journey of self-discovery. Are you ready to explore the arcane and transcend the ordinary? Welcome to the world of sorcery and occult secrets. Let's begin this mystical journey together.